you've been trying to do a color scan, but instead of looking like your subject, it comes out looking like a piece of modern art. Not ideal. But fortunately, I figured it out. And if I can do it, so can you. Let's break out our MetroX and do a color scan. Okay, so our subject for today's experiment is going to be Rosie. Rosie's a Big Daddy 2 figurine from Bioshock 2 because I am a giant dork. We're going to be scanning it using my Revopoint MetroX, the dual axis turntable, in automatic turntable mode. Why? One, to do color scans on the MetroX, you're going to be doing auto turntable. Two, I like auto turntable. It's a cheat code for a good scan. It just makes it way too easy to do. All right. So to get a good color scan, there's really only one thing you need to account for: lighting. You need to keep lighting in mind when you're doing your scan. Now, with this setup, it's going to be really easy because my subject and my scanner are both going to be fixed. If you're ever using a non-fixed scanning setup, like you're using a Morocco or something like that, just keep the same things in mind and you'll still be able to get a really good color scan. When you've got your scanner and your subject lined up, you want to make sure you've got good lighting on your subject. The room I'm in is my home office. I have a window right here, which you can see in the background of my RGB camera preview. That isn't ideal, but it's not going to be a deal breaker. And that's just because of the fact the lighting in here isn't being drowned out by that. If I were to open the blinds and backlight my subject, then we're not going to be having a great time. But fortunately, we're not there yet. The next thing we want to look at is the settings. When it comes to lighting your subject, look in the preview for any high contrast shadows or anything that looks off. We can see here under the arms, I do have some shadowing, and that's okay. It is going to show up on the final scan, but that's not bad at all. Now, if I had really harsh overhead lighting, or if I use something like a ring light, which I have tried in the past, that can actually create some really harsh shadows that show up on the final scan. If you got something that's really shiny or has a lot of specularity to it, like the helmet here, you'll also end up getting artifacts from that. So it's better to have good diffuse lighting. Because my home office is pretty well lit, and I've got some light also coming in from a room adjacent to my office, it just gives me a good setup to get good balanced lighting. Next, go into your scanning software, and this is my recommendation: disable automatic exposure and white balance. Do you need to do that every time? Not really, but for some subjects, like Rosie, where you've got a lot of different colored clashing areas, like you've got this warm bronze and this cool metal, and you've also got like this greenish tan on the bodysuit, that can throw the white balance off. And that can cause it to shift colors from frame to frame, which will show up on your final scan. We don't want that. So what we're going to do here is adjust everything manually, find what looks good to us, and then let the scan run with those settings throughout. So I've turned off my auto exposure. I'm going to probably bring this, let's start in the middle, 50, 49, let's go brighter. This room is, despite the HDR video capture from my camera, this room is a little bit on the dimmer side. So I might need to actually bring my exposure up a little bit more. That looks good. Let's go to my white balance here. And that is still off from last time. Perfect. Sometimes I've come in and it likes to tend to skew a little bit more towards yellow. And almost universally, I found myself coming in, putting it right back in the middle. Let's see, bring that down just a little bit. I messed with a good thing. There we go. I think right exactly like I have it looks good. Next thing I'm going to check, my turntable settings. So when you're doing an automatic turntable scan, you can control how many shots it takes and how fast it goes from angle to angle. When it comes to speed, go as fast as you can. That means as fast as your subject can. If you've got something that's going to be a little bit off balance or is going to rock or shift due just to general way it's balanced, you're going to want to go slow because you don't want it moving too much between rotations. If you've got something like Rosie here that's got good solid footing, no need to worry, go full speed. The number of rotations you want is going to vary depending on the complexity and how much color information you actually want to capture. The more frames, aka the smaller distance between rotations, the more color data you're going to capture, likely the better your end result will be, but your processing time is going to go up as well. So you're going to be increasing scanning and processing time to get higher quality. It's about finding that balance. I typically like to do 8 to 10 for color. If I've got a really hard to scan subject or something that's got a lot of pockets, kind of like Rosie has here, I might actually do 5 degrees per frame, but that is not really needed. So I'm going to stick to, let's keep it at 8. All right. My subject is right in that good area right now, which may seem like I want to get it closer, but hey, good is good enough. And if I give this a little partial rotation here, as it comes around, I'm gonna bring this hand in, and I can see in the preview it's falling right on that cusp of too near and excellent, but it's still being captured. So what this is showing me is how well my subject is aligned in relation to the scanner. And I think we are pretty good. I might be able to bring the physical body in just a hair closer because that backpack sticks out so much. So let's go ahead and just do that. Try to find that center line on our model. And something I personally like to do whenever I'm starting a scan, the first frame you capture is going to determine the model's final orientation. And yeah, you can always adjust that later on in different software. But I just like to start with what I consider the front facing the scanner whenever I can. But enough yammering. I yammer so much I can't even say yammer. Yabba dabba yabba yabba yes. I'll learn how to speak someday, just not today. But everything looks good. I've got my exposure set at 7. I could probably do this on black object mode. I'm not going to though. Yeah, send it. Let's go. All right. And hands off scanning. It's going to do the hard part for me now. So while this is scanning, I'm just going to go ahead and wait and see how it comes out. All right. So we got that first rotation done, and now it's just going to be doing the same thing with the scanner moved either up or down between passes. So let's go ahead and get my down low pass so I can get some of those hard to scan under areas like under the arms and between the legs. This one is pretty close. I mean, I am on that right in excellent now, so I might clip a little bit on the hands due to distance. I could bring my scanner distance in just a bit too to account for that, but that can also cause other problems because we're getting beyond the focal distance that we really want to be at. I'm going to leave that where it should be. We get what we get, and we don't get upset. Now, just going to let this one go around too, like we did the first time. After this pass is finished, I'm just going to position the scanner a couple more times, to get a good incline angle and then a good sharp downward angle just to help me get color from multiple angles, and get into some of these deeper grooves and pockets on the subject. It's really not hard because we did the hard part at the beginning. We got our lights set up, we got our settings tweaked, and that's it. It's ridiculously easy once you've got it all figured out. So now we wait some more. All right, I'm done playing around on my phone waiting for the scan to finish. Looks like we got the bulk of the geometry captured from that angle. Let's go ahead and bring it on up. Use our color preview reticle to help us line the subject up. We hit go. Easy. All right, that rotation is done. Looking in my preview window here, you can see I'm kind of almost building a dome around my scan subject here. I probably don't need an overhead rotation, but I'm going to do it anyways. Because why not? Go. All right. Pretty easy. Let's go ahead and hit complete here and see how our point cloud looks. Right out the gate, I'm very happy. The color on this is clean, it's consistent. Yeah, this is a good scan. I did miss a little bit of geometry on the feet here. Thankfully, that's easy to fix. Let's hit resume. Let's get ourselves lined up. And for that, we can go and bring this up a bit. We don't need every single rotation. Oh, we forgot to do our exposure settings. All right. Nothing like changing settings on the fly. So let that scan. Scan complete. All right. Let's go ahead and head over to the big computer and do some post processing. All right. We've got our completed scan point cloud here. We're going to go pretty simple. Let's see. I want to do 0.24. Let's do 0.2. Let's go and do our fusion and process from here. This would probably be a good model for one click, which would take care of all the hard work for us. But let's do it manually. We can go through my process. We could fuse this as fine as 0.05 millimeters point distance. That's insane. You got to think about how small a millimeter is in general. A fifth of a millimeter is plenty for a model like this. And when you start getting really fine, like I say zero point 0.1 and lower, you're getting to the point where your polygon count is going to increase almost exponentially. Like going from say 0.15 to zero point 0.1 is going to be the difference between a ballpark around 10 million polygons and 30 million polygons for a model like this. We're probably going to be about 5 mil, maybe 4. Okay, so let's see. We've got 2 million points here. So yeah, this would probably end up finishing close to 4 million polygons. Let's do a quick isolation. And this color looks great already. I'm very pleased. Oh, that just delete part of the model itself. Sure did. It looks like we didn't get this captured. Easy way around that, just bring your isolation down a bit. There we go. Clean that up. Now we've got a lot of our base that was picked up. We could have turned on base removal while we were scanning. I probably should have, but easy way around that is to turn on orthogonal view, which is like when you're working in CAD or something where there's no true perspective. And then we can use our plane select and just come right across here. Let's try that again. Make sure we're not clipping too much of the model itself. And clean that out. Let's do another isolation just because that created a few points that are floating around out there. Make sure we're not accidentally removing that elbow. And we can go ahead and move straight to mesh on this and let's do an automatic hole filling. Go and bring that down a little bit. I don't want it trying to fill in the bottom of the feet here. All right, we have filled the majority of the holes on our model. There will still be a few floating here because I did that percentage fill so low. And that's just because of the way we scan this. I didn't change the orientation of my actual scan subject. No biggie there. So let's go ahead and just do a hole fill. Invert the selection. Let's go and deselect the bottom of the feet here. Let that fill. It's going to take it just a minute because it's generating a lot of new geometry. All right, that's looking pretty dang good. That is a beautiful scan. Wow. Wasn't even going for just a high quality overall scan. I was just going for color capture, but this still came out wonderful. Like, look at this around those little bars in front of the porthole window thing there. I'm very happy with this. So last step with your color scan is deciding how you're going to want to go for your color texture mapping. Two different ways. So with this, we've got our current coloring, which is based off of vertex color. So we could just bake exactly what we see to our final color texture, or we can use color image. Color image will give you a lot more detail, but it's also going to bake in any specularity, shadows, or highlights that were captured and get computed to the final mesh. So you can try one, and then if you don't like it, go to the other. I personally am very happy with vertex coloring because there's no shadows or highlights I have to fight with when I'm taking this into separate software down the road. But let's go and do a color image as well and see how it comes out. All right, and here we have got our baked on color image data. Normally, I'm not a big fan of going that route just due to the fact it creates shadows and highlights that look good on their own. And this does look really good. I'm extremely pleased with this as an end result. However, if you were to import this into a scene in, say, Unreal Engine or something like that, and you want to use your own lighting, you're going to end up with a clash between whatever lighting you add and what's already here. So I tend to lean more towards using the vertex color data and then using my own adjustments to the material. Like I'll assign a metallic material to the helmet in the pauldrons or anything that's metal or whatever, and then let the color data do its thing on its own, let the lights react with that. But if I was just going to do a straight render without any lighting as an unlit model, wrong button, I would totally be happy with this. So basically all you got to think about is this is what it looks like unlit. The lighting is baked on. You don't want it reacting to any other external lights. And this is an unlit model with flat colors, but it's going to look really good when you start using dynamic lighting with it. So dynamic lighting, go for vertex. Baked lighting, go for color image. But yeah, there you go. We have successfully done a pretty good looking color scan. I hope my rambling was able to help you figure something out today. If not, sorry. If I did, good for us. Go out there and scan something.